welcome to the Kitchen Knitter podcast where I share with you what I've been knitting and sewing. My name is Suzanne and I live in Cheshire in the northwest of England with my husband. And today is August the 5th. I thought I'd come on and just do a little update. I've not done much knitting. It's been quite warm here. We've had a bit of a heat wave and it just wasn't comfortable knitting. And we've had a couple of weekends away, so sewing, which I usually do at the weekend, hasn't really happened. But I can show you what I've done so far. I can't remember if I showed this on the last podcast. It is a shawl by Joanna Harriet, and it's called the Silver Dollar Shawl. It's a lovely pattern, and I'm not going to do the tassels though, I'm just going to do the shawl. And it's a rather lovely pattern. The company is, it's Twin Satin Pearls, but this pattern is by Joanna Harriet. Oh, can you hear those magpies? Oh, they drive me mad. They're horrible. Right, I'll ignore them. No, actually, I'll go and see what the fuss is about. That's better. They're a darn nuisance, the magpies. They nested. We tried to deter it. I know you're not supposed to. We tried to deter the magpie from nesting there, and it's attacking all the chicks. We had a baby blackbird chick come into the garden at the weekend, and it just attacked it. It was horrible. The blackbird survived. I chased the magpie, but it was traumatic for the little chick. And the same with a starling. It was there was a same sort of fuss and bother, and I came out, and this magpie is dragging a starling chick across the grass. So I did my headmistressy. I'm not a headmistress, but I've got a headmistressy voice, I'm told. And both birds flew away. So, I just think they're dreadful birds, horrible birds, beautiful looking birds, but I don't like their manners. No. Anyway, back to the knitting. So I'm not sure if I showed this last time. I've not done much progress, as you can see. That's the right side. That's my little West Green Loft yarn progress keeper that tells me that is the right side. And it's a lovely pattern. And I'm using a yarn from, I've only caked one up, and it's a 2 skein shawl. But I'm using yarn from Bird Street yarn. Gorgeous, beautiful. And that's it, caked up. It's coming out a little darker in the light. I'll have to put the overhead lights on because my kitchen's quite dark. There, and it is the Countess Grey colourway, Countess Grey on Dawn and 4-ply. It's lovely colour. It's a sort of a lavendery grey, and then there's bits of speckles on it. And I think it's knitting up really nicely. It's a nice pattern, very easy to follow, very clear, really nice. But I may be showing you that again. I don't often look back. I don't like to look back on my podcast. It's a bit weird. So that's that one. Again, not much progress made on that one. And the other thing I've been knitting on is part of the pair of socks from the Sock Society, Curious Handmade, the Lavender Fields socks. Lovely pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I just find it a bit disconcerting when I hold things up and it's back to front, but when you actually edited it, it's the right way around. Anyway, I've finished one sock. Again, I can't remember if I don't think I finished it last time, but I've finished one sock. I've got 2 Kitchener, and you can see that pattern is to represent lavender flowers. You know, the heads. It's very pretty. And this is in a Sherry Iris yarn called Bouquet d'Amour, and it is meant to represent Sherry's wedding bouquet, which must have looked absolutely gorgeous. It's this is, again, if the light isn't great, it's a creamy, it's like a cream base, but there's little pale yellow and lavender in there, and I thought it was quite appropriate for these socks. So I've got that one done, and I'm about to do the heel on this one. I use 9-inch circulars, but to do the heel, I put them on the DPNs and then just use them as straight needles until and then I put them back on the which is a bit fiddly, but I can't use DPNs. So, and that's what I've done so far. I made a bit of a mistake on the because if you notice where the picot edging, you cast on a picot edging, there's just a very, very slim garter stitch panel there, whereas mine's quite thick, and I think I started on the wrong side. So I then had to fiddle about, started this one on the wrong side, so I then had to fiddle about to get this one the same. So I did eventually. Oh, I knit my hair into these things, horrible. There. Right. So that's another work in progress. I tend to have a lot of work. I'm in a bad habit of casting on things when I should be finishing other things. My woolen. I keep wanting to call it woolen twine, and I don't think that's right. I've got the thing in here. Here we are. Woolen Nature, and that's one of the prints that Claire, who lives in France, she creates these lovely prints. You get a little thank you, and it was a Sherry Iris yarn. It's the ball band. What do you call them, ball bands on a skein? So that's that one. The other thing I've just started, I think I showed you the wool last time as an acquisition, and I've actually cast on the Fanel, I think that's how you pronounce it, Fanel cardigan by Orlan Souche, Orlan Souche, I think, probably murdering that name, Orlan Souche. And I'm using yarn from Cat, from Heather and Hops, and it's a Valais and Jacob. It's DK, and it's 50% Valais black nose and 50% Jacob. It's a very rustic, it's very rustic yarn. It's too itchy, not too itchy. But I'm making a cardigan, so it won't be next to the skin. And that's as much as I've done. You knit it top down, and at the moment I'm doing all the casting on and the shaping. It's all in a bit of a tangle. There we go. There. Don't know if you can, but it's a very rustic yarn. It can go very thin, almost like string, and then go fat again, which makes an interesting. There you see it sort of thickens out a bit, and then it. Oh, it's lovely. I really like it. I'd like to do more with rustic yarns. It's really lovely. I like the texture. And how it's. I think it'll hold its shape really nicely. And then I would probably soften it with a sort of a more lacy shawl or something in contrasting or similar colour. But I think it's lovely. So again, I've only wound up one skein. And I've cast on. So that's that work in progress. I'm quite liking the top down method. I did the Margot cardigan top down, and I've got into a mess with that one, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But this pattern is really nice. I'm happy with it. Well, I was happy with the other pattern. It was me that got into a mess. It's a really nice pattern. So that's that one. The other one is another pair of socks, and these are the Queen Charlotte socks. I think I showed I think I'd only just literally cast on last time. The Queen Charlotte socks, again by, now this is Rachel from Twin Set and Pearls. It's Joanna and Rachel, twin sisters, Twin Set and Pearl. But Rachel has designed this pattern. It's very nice. And this is my first sort of, well, no, is it my first? I don't know, but this is quite a lot of pattern for me for socks. I normally do a little bit at the top, which like the Lavender Fields, or something down the front, which I did with my Lola socks. I haven't finished those. Yeah, so, and it's the heel, that's the heel I like to do, which I think I will put on my Lola socks. I will do that slip stitch heel. It's the one, it fits nicely as well, but it's the one I can cope with. There we are. So, and I'm knitting, again, it's another Sherry Iris wool yarn, and it is the, this is Meadow Grass. Before it all falls off the needles. There we go, and it's Meadow Grass, and it's, again, it's creamy background with lovely pale greens. It's very, very pretty. It's coming, I don't know if you can sort of, that's a bit better that way. That's it there, and it's on. Don't know what's happened there to the mess. There we go. There, it's sort of very, very pretty, messy ball. So I've only just, this is the first sock, and you knit it cuff down. I didn't do the pattern calls for a twisted, a German, is it a German cast on? The stretchy cast on. It's a paper pattern. I can't see. Anyway, whatever it was, I didn't do it because I just did a normal cast on, but it's a twisted stitch rib. It's really, really nice. And then that lovely pattern. And the chart, I follow the chart, and it's very easy to follow. So that's that pair of socks. Another work in progress. So you see, I'm not really. That's my knitting, and I've not done much at all. And sewing. I think in my last podcast I showed you some material I bought, and from Merchant and Mills, and now I've done the pink dress. I did the camber. It's a very easy pattern, very simple pattern. Can you see? Oh, what's that? Oh, I think I told you in my last podcast I've got an interlocker for my birthday, and I keep finding ends everywhere that I haven't sewn in. So, but I mean, I have worn this. I wore this when I went to Tatton. I wore it. I felt very fat in it, but that's another story. I won't bore you with that. I'm trying to do something about that. Anyway, there we go. And it's got like a kind of a yoke at the back. It's a very, very easy, very simple pattern. It took 1.5 yards. The only trouble is you end up with a sort of like a strip of material that, well, I've kept it, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And yeah, that's it. It's a very, the fabric was called Petrova. It's a sort of a chalky pink. It's coming out very pale on the camera here, but it's that lovely chalky pink. It's not a dirty pink. It's a lovely chalky pink. Then that's it. That's the only one I've done. I don't think, I haven't really looked into it, but I don't think I bought enough material to do the blouse. The Liberty fabric I bought, I don't think I bought enough material. So I will, I'll buy some more, I think. And the other thing I've been sewing, I've just started it, and it's kind of the thing I'm just going to pick up and put down as and when, is English paper piecing. And I've got my box of bits, and these are the fabrics. I've cut out some, so I've done that hexagon, and I've got that one, and I've cut all those out, so I can just, you know, pick it up and get started. I bought a hexagon ruler, and you cut the strips, and then you kind of put it down one way, and then you reverse it the other way to get the hexagon shape. It's a bit fiddly, but it works for me. And the other fabrics I'm going to use are, they're all Liberty fabrics. Now that's coming out darker. It's a much paler grey on the background, and this one with snowdrops, that's a green background, and this one, and that one, that's grey. And then I thought I'd put a bit of kind of that way up, this way up. I just bought fat quarters, and I thought I'll see how far I get with these. I bought them from my local patchwork and quilting specialist shop, and they stock the colours all the time, so they stock the fabric all the time, so I should be all right. And I don't know how long it'll take me. I buy these hexagons. I've bought some from Patch Finders, and they sell them in small packs, but they closed during the second lockdown, and so I bought these online, and I could get 200, so that'll keep me going, because you can only get them in, but I think these are packs of 50, but I got 200, so that'll keep me going. They're the 1.5 inch hexagons, so I bought them from Lena Patchwork, and that's her card. You get a little ruler, which is handy. And then with compliments, I got some, I think they're 1.5 inch squares, just as a little thank you. I have got some small hexagons, and I bought some little charm packs, but they're a bit fiddly, those. I thought, well, I'll have to go with this. I can just pick it up and put it down as and when. How I'm going to do it and what I'm going to do with them, I've no idea. But yeah, well, that's it. Slim pickings, isn't it? I must do better. So I thought maybe I could come back on in, well, I shouldn't say it out loud, a fortnight. Say a fortnight, it's Thursday today. Yeah, say a fortnight tomorrow, and have something a bit more substantial to show you. I was going to tell you about the Margot cardigan. I think it was doomed from the beginning, really, doomed. I took about 3 goes to, I think on my podcast I told you, I had about 3 goes at casting on, for one reason or another, all silly mistakes of my making. It's nothing to, the pattern's lovely, and the way it was knitting up was really, really nice. I was pleased with it. So I did one sleeve, but I had too many stitches for that sleeve. I don't know, as I was going down and doing the decreasing, I still had too many stitches on, so I have no idea what I did wrong. But I thought, oh, it's fine. I tried it on, and I thought, oh, it's fine. It just, it looked okay. So then when I came to put the other sleeve on the stitch, on the needle, so, you know, I had the stitches on waste yarn, I lost some, I dropped some, and they seemed to go into the the raglan shaping, you know, the pattern of the raglan shape. So I lost my way, and I thought, well, I'll take it back to where I'd cast on. I put them on the needles, and it just all went horribly wrong. I'm not even going to show you what it looks like. It's terrible, because I'm going to have to frog the whole thing. It's not, you can't take it back because you've been knitting all the way across, and stitches were coming. Oh, it was just a mess, and I was really cross with myself. So I've bundled it all in the bag, and I've just left it, because I don't think that is going to be an easy yarn to unpick. I think it's a bit like mohair. It all just mats together a little bit. So I might put it in the freezer and see if that does the trick. I don't know why I cut myself a fringe, you know, it really annoys me. That aside, yeah, so, I mean, I've only used 1.5 skeins. I've still got obviously 1.5 left. I had 3 skeins. So all is not lost, but I mean, I have a horrible feeling I'm going to be wasting that yarn, but I'll have a go and see. But I'm so cross with myself. Anyway, well, I think that's it. Definitely it. I've got some errands to do now. I've got to go into the village. Oh, we laughingly, well, we say it's a village. It's a town. We live in a town. It's too big to be called a village anymore, but it's still, we still like to think of it as a village. Anyway, I've got to go and do some bits and pieces, and then tomorrow we're going down to Hertfordshire to see my younger daughter. She's moved into a flat with a boyfriend, and we're going to go and see her new flat and spend some time with her, which would be nice. And spend time with both of them, which would be lovely. Yes, so I've still managed to do 21 minutes. Not bad. I've taken some pictures and footage in the garden. Now, whether I can do this or not, I will kind of add it on it. I do like it when I watch podcasts and then they do a little vloggy bit. They take you on a walk or around their garden, or just it's just lovely. But mine isn't up to that standard, I have to admit. But I'll show you. See what you think. If I can do it. I noticed on the last podcast that my little intro, I don't know what happened there, and I changed the picture. That picture was horrible. I looked bored to death. So I managed to change that, and I've just put my kitchen knitter profile picture up. But if I can, I'll put some footage of bits and pieces around the garden. We'll see anyway. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I think I've had a few new subscribers since my last podcast, and thank you very much. It's really lovely. I can't believe it. I think last time I looked, it was 732 subscribers. That's how many people watch this podcast. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. Bye.